Hello and welcome back to Becoming the Strategy with Moriam. This is a space for leaders who no longer need more information but deeper alignment, for professionals who know what should be done, yet sense that something within has grown quiet. Here we restore inner authority. We examine the discipline of self-governance, the maturity of aligned leadership, and the decisions that shape sustainable impact. Not noise, not pressure, not borrowed tactics, but embodied strategy. Because advancement begins within, and the moment you reclaim authority, movement follows. In episode 2, we're going to focus on when high performers lose inner authority. For many capable professionals, the issue is not knowledge. Oftentimes, it is not competence. It is not ambition. It is not even opportunity. It is alignment. There's a quiet experience I have observed repeatedly in corporate settings, in healthcare systems, among founders, and even within my own season of growth. High performers lose inner authority. Not dramatically, not suddenly, gradually. It happens while delivering, while advancing, while meeting expectations. And because performance remains intact, the loss is rarely recognized. But internally, something shifts. Decision-making becomes reactive. Energy becomes scattered. Success feels heavier than it once did. You're moving, but not anchored. Let me explain what I mean. Inner authority is not confidence. Confidence can fluctuate. Inner authority is governance of self. It is the quiet clarity that informs your decisions, your boundaries, your pace, and your direction. It is the discipline to act from alignment rather than pressure. And when it weakens, performance continues but coherence declines. I have experienced this personally. There were seasons in my career when output increased, responsibility expanded, recognition followed. Yet, internally, I sensed something subtle but significant. I was leading well, but I was not always governing myself well. There is a difference. Leadership without self-governance eventually creates tension. Because the world may validate your performance long before you validate your alignment. And if you're not careful, validation becomes your compass. High performers are particularly vulnerable to this. Because they know what should be done. They understand systems, they understand strategy, and they understand expectations. But knowing what should be done is not the same as deciding who you are becoming. And over time, if decisions are made primarily in response to pressure, urgency, or approval, inner authority begins to erode. not loudly, quietly. You may recognize some of these signs. You say yes more quickly than you reflect. You carry responsibility without recalibration. You meet expectations but feel internally unsettled. You advance but something feels misaligned. That is not weakness, it is misalignment. And misalignment is not corrected by doing more. It is corrected by returning to governance. In the Rise Up philosophy, everything begins with reflection. Not reflection about goals, reflection about self. Who am I becoming in this season? What is informing my decisions? Am I acting from clarity or from accumulated expectation? These are disciplined questions, and discipline is what restores authority. When I say becoming the strategy, I do not mean creating new plans. I mean embodying coherence. When reflection sharpens awareness, when investment expands capacity, when effort becomes directed, when presence is intentional, when fear is released, when performance is aligned, strategy is no longer external, it is internalized. But before any of that, authority must be restored. And authority is restored through pause. This is why the first discipline in this movement is not productivity, it is honesty. Now ask yourself, where have I outsourced my authority? Where am I reacting instead of deciding? Where has performance replaced alignment? Do not answer quickly. Let each of those questions settle. Because the goal is not guilt, it is clarity. And clarity precedes confidence, always. For corporate professionals feeling stalled, this may look like you know how to progress, but you're uncertain which direction aligns. For business owners that are scaling, it may look like growth is happening, but internally the foundation feels unstable. For senior leaders, it may look like influence is visible, but your pace is unsustainable. The solution is not urgency. It is disciplined recalibration. Authority is not loud. It is measured. It does not rush. It does not prove. It does not compete. It decides. And once you begin deciding from clarity rather than pressure, something shifts. Momentum becomes steadier. Energy becomes cleaner. Performance becomes sustainable. Not because circumstances change immediately, but because governance returns. This podcast is a shared discipline movement, not for those seeking shortcuts, but for those willing to return to themselves. Because the strategy was never missing, it was waiting. waiting for you to govern yourself again, waiting for you to act from conviction rather than expectation, waiting for coherence. Before we close this first episode, I invite you to practice one discipline this week. Pause before your next significant decision. Ask yourself this question: is this aligned with who I am becoming? Not who I have been, not what others expect, but who I am becoming. That single question restores more authority than information ever could. You're not searching for the strategy. You are becoming the strategy. And in our next episode, we will explore the discipline required to protect alignment once it is restored. Until then, govern yourself well. And always remember, you do not need to wait for permission. You're not behind, you are becoming. Thank you so much for listening to Becoming the Strategy. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who is ready to rise quietly, intentionally, and without self-betrayal. Until next time, reflect with clarity, invest with intention, and lead from within, because you are the strategy.